All right, and welcome back to the forecast card. Yeah, not a good day. 3-6. Luckily, three of those losses came in the quarter unit bets, so the day actually didn't end up being much of a bloodbath for me. Just a little under over a unit lost. Um, but yeah, some really bad games by me. Some not really even unlucky, just bad. Twins run line. Uh, yeah, they end up winning this game 5-2. Their offense just couldn't do anything against Dean Kremer, which really surprised me. They had no business winning this game. But of course, yeah, if you took the full game run line, you would have cashed this one. Rangers Red Sox over. Really thought the Rangers offense was turning a corner, especially getting Seager back, but they couldn't do anything against Tannerhook. They had completely nulled out here. Not 5-0 Red Sox. I had the Rangers winning this game, so the fact that the Red Sox put up their 5 runs, pretty bummed out that the Rangers did absolutely nothing. So maybe I just read the Rangers offense wrong. Maybe they just got lucky against some bad pitchers, but yeah, they did. They looked like their classic self again. Tigers Rockies game 2 over. Um, this series, this doubleheader, if you just have to be as square as possible. If you took the Tigers run line and the over in both these games, there's basically the same result in both of them. 10-2 and 11-1. Complete destruction against this Rockies team. Their offense just can't do anything. Even at home. Usually betting Rockies at home has been profitable, but so far they are looking terrible, like genuinely really bad. Phillies money line ends up not really being that sweat free at all. The Phillies bullpen kind of implodes, but then luckily the Rays bullpen implodes as well. This game ends up going to overtime, 5-5, where the Phillies pull ahead 7-6. So really not a sweaty game at all. Reds Braves first under, pretty sweat free. Two solid pitchers. Really looked like it might have kind of fallen apart in the fifth, where both teams were giving up a lot of runs, but fortunately they got out of them. But it was looking like another classic first five under backdoor, but goes into the sixth 2-1 or 1-1. Dodgers first five run line. Yeah, doesn't even matter the fact that the Diamondbacks hit a grand slam. Um, Dodgers offense is just terrible on the road. I don't know what to tell you. Pafat completely has a perfect first 6 innings. I don't know, man. This Dodgers team on the road is just so unreliable. I don't even understand why. But yeah, they just can't seem to hit people. I'm gonna take an over again on them today. If they don't do shit, I'm retiring on this team. It's just I don't know. I have no words. Even if they don't get a grand slam, they scored no runs in the first five, so meaningless. White Sox Royals under. This game kind of unlucky though. Royals had their best offensive day of the year. White Sox put out some of their worst bullpen arms because they were losing. So Royals scored 10 runs by themselves, 17 hits. Yeah, I guess the Royals team was eventually going to get hot, but it sucks that it was today because the White Sox got nulled out. So Royals they could have just scored 8 and been happy with it, but they scored like 6 runs against the bullpen, which was pretty annoying. Rockies first five run line, probably one of my worst bets ever. This was like 9-0 after the third inning, so this had no chance at all. Genuinely no chance. Yeah, Freeland did not turn the corner I was expecting him to. Genuinely, really bad. The Jays, Angels under. This was pretty much dead right away. Both teams just kind of gave up some early home runs. This game ends up being pretty high scoring, 8-5, so didn't stand much of a chance. But yeah, just a very square day. If you just took every favorite on the run line, you probably would have been doing pretty solid today, even on the money line. The only favorite that didn't cover today was the Dodgers, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it is what it is. Shitty day, but I actually really like almost all of the games tomorrow. Some weird games, but in terms of model leans and to like value wise, I do quite like a lot of these games. So let's get into the slate for tomorrow. All right, heading on to game number one, we have the Braves heading on the road to play the Pirates. Now, I'm pretty sure this game's going to end up being Bailey Falter. It keeps kind of switching between him and Heaney, but I'm pretty sure Falter is locked in at this point. But yeah, Falter, despite having a really bad ERA and WHIP, he looked really good against the Padres early May, and that was against the full Padres lineup with Jackson Merrill back. So he went 7 innings in that game, only 89 pitches, Only gave up 2 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Really solid. Um, and that's his second really good start at home. He had another one against Washington, 7 innings, only 2 hits. So I think he's really good at home. He had one really bad start against the Yankees early on, but I think he's turning a corner for sure. And I do kind of like this matchup for him. The Braves on paper is definitely a team that hits righties much better. They've been bottom 5 offense on the season against left-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks. Again, also bottom 5. So um, I think he's gonna have a really good outing here. And I love to fade Bryce Elder. Um, I fully understand that he doesn't look. Sometimes he looks really good, but it's still Bryce Elder. He has a 5 ERA. He's really, really, really bad in general. And this year he's been really bad on the road, getting really hit up by righties, which is most of the offense here um, for this Pittsburgh team. I don't think Falter's that good. I really don't. And Pittsburgh, on paper, obviously not a good offense at all, especially against right-handed pitching. Over the last 2 weeks, you know, bottom 2 on the season, bottom 5, even bottom 2 still. Like they kind of suck, if I'm being honest. But again, we're getting them at a really good price here. They've kind of looked a little bit better. They kind of regressed back to being shitty again. But I think coming back home, I think they may have a good chance here to get a couple runs off Elder. And I think if Bailey Falter pitches well, he can really do some damage here against this Braves lineup that strikes out a ton. So I'm going to be on the Pirates' first 5 money line here at plus 105. All right, heading on to game number 2, we have the Rangers heading on the road to play the Tigers. Now, originally I just wanted to kind of slam the Tigers, right? You got Skubal, Cy Young last year. It runs Patrick Corbin, the fade god. But again, he's been actually kind of good this year. It really has been solid. And there's one thing that I have noticed, because I really wanted to just slam the Tigers run line. But then I looked at the odds. I'm like, surprised we're getting, minus 110 on this Tigers team. There must be something I'm missing. Obviously, Patrick Corbin's been pitching really well this year. But I looked all the way back in 2023 and 2024, and the first game back for Tigers after playing in Coors Field and then coming back home, both those games were 1-0 games. So their offense definitely takes a day at least to adjust here to the altitude. And I think we're going to see another really low scoring game. Again, Tigers at home versus lefties have been really good. They've been a really good home team. And the Rangers have kind of, again, they got, shit on yesterday, but on paper they've been starting to hit better. But again, Tiger Stadium, not necessarily known to be a hitter's ballpark, definitely a pitcher's ballpark. And again, Patrick Corbin, all things considered, has actually been decent this season. Like he's really turning a corner. He's looked really good. Yes, he essentially still gives up his hits, but he gets out of innings. He forces ground balls. Definitely a veteran presence. And this Tigers team, again, they are a team that definitely relies on the home run ball for a lot of their offense, it feels like. And wind blowing from left to right in this ballpark historically leads to much fewer runs. So I'm going to be on the under 7.5 here at minus 115. I think we see like a 2-1, 1-0 type of game. Like both bullpens pitch well. And again, I think this is going to be a Coors hangover type of game where we don't see much going on. If I had to pick a side, it would be Tigers run line, but the price is telling me that the Rangers are going to look decent this game. So give me the under 7.5 at minus 115. All right, moving on to game number 3, we have the Cardinals heading on the road to play the Nationals. Now, on paper, I think Mitchell Parker is slightly better pitcher than Eric Fetty. Again, he's been a fine pitcher last year. I think last year Fetty was probably a little bit better, but this just seems like a slam dunk here for Nationals first 5 for me. This National team at home versus righties has been really, really good. Top 5 offense in baseball on the season, top 10 over the last 2 weeks, top 5 over the last month. So they are really, really good against right-handed pitching, especially at home, or almost exclusively at home. They definitely suck on the road versus right-handed pitching. On the other side, despite the fact that this is a really good Cardinals team, they can't hit lefties, especially on the road. If you look at their stats versus lefties over the last month, they're the 3rd worst offense in baseball. On the season, not really as bad, but still bottom 3 offense, 139 plate appearances, 52 WRC plus. Obviously, that number improves when they're at home. They become like almost a top 10 offense, but they're going to struggle here, I think. Mitchell Parker on paper, I think he's very, very, very slightly better pitcher. But he's been really good at home, sub 2.5 ERA, um, .200 batting average versus lefties and righties, which has been pretty good. While Eric Fetty has historically been much worse on the road. Last season, he had a 4.2 ERA on the road, a sub 2 ERA at home. This year, he's kind of hovering around the same 4.8 on the road. So he struggles against righties, which again, Nationals are a bit more of a lefty lineup, but I think they do find some success here against Fetty. So I'll be on the Nats first five money line here at minus 120. Moving on to game number 4, we have the Brewers heading on the road to play the Rays. Now, on paper, I think these teams are very similar, but the Rays bullpen is really, really beat up for this game. Like genuinely, they're gonna have to start a lot of mediocre, just very mediocre pitchers. And again, Zach Littell has been decent. He's looked a lot better, but he still has not been phenomenal. 2-5 on the season. He does not get run support even when he has good games. While Jose Quintana has really turned a leaf. He's looking really good. And again, Rays versus lefties has been a problem this year. Bottom 5 offense in baseball against left-handed pitching. At home versus lefties, slightly better, but still sub 100 WRC plus. On the other side, this is a Milwaukee team that has found some success against righties on the road. Top 10 offense in baseball on the season over the last 2 weeks. A little bit worse, but still just slightly below average. If you look at them just in general against righties, it improves drastically. So I think they're going to have a bit more success here. I think Quintana is having just a bit better of a season than Pepiot. Obviously, if you look at the numbers last year, Pepiot was a significantly better pitcher than Quintana was. But I think he's looking really, really good this year. I really do. And now he's playing a lineup that, again, can't hit lefties. I think he's going to have a good start. He's looked phenomenal on the road. 1 ERA on the road. He's had 3 starts on the road. And against some pretty good offenses, Arizona, San Francisco, and the Cardinals. All teams that can hit, 2 teams that can hit lefties. 1 team that really can't. So, again, Zach Littell, he's a really good pitcher on paper, but he still has a 5 ERA at home. That's eventually going to balance out, but he's given up hits to the Angels and the Rockies and the Red Sox at home. 3 offenses that historically, actually, the Red Sox have been pretty good on the road, but again, the fact that its numbers are this bad at home versus some pretty bad lineups, now they're going to be going against a Brewers lineup that's really starting to hit again. I think the Brewers win this game. I think they have the bullpen advantage, pitching advantage, and the bats advantage. So Brewers money line for me at minus 105. All right, moving on to game number 5, we have the Cubs heading on the road to play the Mets. Now, I looked at a few angles to play this game, but I really, really do like the under in this one. Obviously, this is going to be in Citi Field Stadium, which is really not a hitter-friendly park. Like home runs are rare, doubles are not easy to come by, even singles are kind of hard to come by. Yes, we're getting a little bit of wind blowing out, but it's so insignificant. I don't think it changes much. Again, I think it's going to be mostly left to right winds. Again, if you look at the data, left to right winds between 6 to 10 miles per hour have statistically led to a lot fewer runs, especially with lineups that have a lot of righties, which both of these teams have more righties than they do lefties. So James Taillon looking really good this year. Has had a couple really, really good starts. He has been really good too against this Mets lineup. 74 at bats, .162 average, a sub .500 OPS against this Mets lineup. So I think he's going to have a really good game. Obviously, Clay Holmes was being one of the best pitchers in baseball this year. Really, really good too. I think both these bullpens are relatively kind of not playing too well. So I'm going to be on the first 5 under in this game. On FanDuel, you can get a minus 135, which I think is, again, I loved getting the extra .5 in these games. Under 4 always seems to be shaky for some reason. Again, wind blowing in a really solid way. 2 solid pitchers. Yes, these are 2 really good offenses, but I think they both have really good games here. Taillon on the road's been good. Clay Holmes at home's been good. Give me the first 5 under 4.5 in this game. Moving on to the next game, we have the Phillies heading on the road to play the Guardians. Aaron Nola, he's an interesting one. Again, he's been really, really bad to start off the year, but since his couple really, really bad starts, he's looked incredible. back-to-back games against two of the best offenses in baseball, the Cubs and the Diamondbacks. He's only given up. He pitched 13 innings in those two games. Only given up 7 hits, had 14 strikeouts, only 2 walks, only 1 earned run. He's looked like kind of back to prime Nola. Um, there was some news that he's having a bit of um, his neck kind of feeling locked up. But it seemed to have kind of went away, and then he ended up going and pitching 109 times. So I think that's not actually a problem. Um, I think he's gonna have another good game. I think he's kind of getting back into it. Gavin Williams on the other side, striking out a ton, but he is having a walking problem. His last game, he gave up 7 hits, 5 walks. He got very lucky in 4 innings to only give up 2 earned runs, but um, yeah, he has not played a single game where he hasn't given up at least 1 run. He's given up a home run in his last 4 games, two in one against Baltimore. He's only went 2 innings and then 4 innings, pitching over 100 pitches. So I think his problem with walks is going to continue here against a Phillies lineup that's currently number 5 in not striking out and number 5 in top 5 in getting walks. So if he can't find the strike zone, the Phillies team actually has surprisingly a lot of batters that are very patient when historically they haven't really. So I think we're getting the better team, the better bats, and we're getting Aaron Nola, who's pitching really, really well right now. Don't really want to deal with the bullpens. I think Phillies bullpen has turned over a good leaf, but I do think the Guardians still have a slight advantage there. So I'll be in the Phillies first 5 money line here at minus 125. All right, moving on to the next game, we have the Red Sox heading on the road to play the Royals. Again, these are two pitchers that I don't necessarily trust. I think Michael Lorenzen has been serviceable at home, really good at home actually. Hunter Dobbins, still don't really know much about him. He's 2-1 on the year, but um, I don't think he's that good. I really don't. Um, if you look at his starts in the last few games, he's played 3 starts. He's had 8 hits, 7 hits, 3 hits, and the 3 hits were against the White Sox against decent offenses. Uh, he's given up 2 walks in both of them, and so 15 hits and 4 walks in 10 innings pitched. Only 7 strikeouts, 2 home runs, 5 earned runs. I don't think he's really that good, and this is going to be his first road start in his career. I think he's going to really struggle. I really do. On the other side, we have, in my opinion, a pitcher that he's still a pitcher that's thrown a no hitter. Like he still has the ability to be elite, and he's being really good at home with a 1.5 ERA. But again, at home, he's pitched against Colorado, which again is inflating the shit out of his numbers, and he pitched against Minnesota. And against the Minnesota game, I think he got quite lucky. Only 3 strikeouts of that game. Um, yeah, I think both these pitchers kind of suck. And on paper, Red Sox on the road versus righties have been one of the best offenses in baseball. And if you just look at these offenses in general over the last 2 weeks, the Royals against righties, top 3 offense. Boston against righties, top 7 offense. So both these offenses are hitting the ball well. Royals bullpen is good, but I think it's a little bit taxed as well. I think we're going to see a lot of runs in this game in Kauffman Stadium that historically has a really good park factor for runs being scored. So I'm going to be on the over 9 here at minus 105. Moving on to the next game, we have the Marlins heading on the road to play the White Sox. Now, I tried to find different angles to play this game, but if you just look at the xFIP between these two pitchers, like, yes, Max Meyer just had a really bad start, but he's still a top 20. He has a 4.11 FIP, but an xFIP of 2.93, so it suggests he's been really unlucky. He pitches really well, but again, the home run ball has really kind of shit on him. Luckily, he's up against a White Sox lineup that doesn't really have that many threats. Yes, they have a couple guys that can hit home runs, Andrew Vaughn, Louis Robert, but other than that, not really guys that are too scary on the home run ball. So if they can't get the ball up in the air, I think Max Meyer has a really good bounce back day. And if you look at this Wilson guy, he's bottom 20 this season with an xFIP of 6.04. So yes, he has an xFIP that's worse than his actual FIP of 5.7. So despite having a 5.6 ERA, he's been lucky. So I think he's really, really bad. This is a guy that kind of moved up from being a bullpen arm. The first time he moved up from being a bullpen arm, he gave up 9 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, only 4 strikeouts against the Houston lineup that has been pretty bad against righties. He has a 6.91 ERA at home. Max Meyer, again, has had a couple bad starts, but I think he's the way better pitcher here. I think Marlins get at least 3 runs off of Bryce Williams. despite the fact that this is probably going to be a pretty low-scoring game. So yeah, give me the Marlins on the first 5 run line here at minus 110. I think they get. I think Max Meyer has a good. Maybe gives up 1 run to a home run ball, but otherwise, I think the Marlins can get to Bryce Wilson relatively easily. All right, moving on to our next game, we have the Reds heading on the road to play the Astros. Um, yeah, again, I don't really trust either of these offenses. I really don't. I think Hunter Brown is still an extremely elite pitcher. The Reds' offense on the road has been serviceable, but again, Hunter Brown at home has been insane. Even on the road, he's been insane. Like his strikeouts are way up, his walks are down. Um, like the only team that he's actually given up more than 2 earned runs to was the White Sox. And again, I don't think that is going to happen again. That he only gave up 4 hits and 3 walks in that game. It just happened that they happened in a row. So I don't think he's going to ever do that again. Now he's up against a Reds team that has been really struggling offensively. They've been looking a little bit better, but again, this is an elite pitcher. And on the other side, we have Nick Martinez, who he's not bad, but he's not like a elite pitcher. But he's been really really good on the road last year. I think he gets back to that form. Both these teams kind of struggle with righties. Astros versus righties have been better this year, but again, this is going to be a game with some pretty bad weather at Dakin Park where Astros are playing. Yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty low scoring game. Home run balls are really only going to be really highly contested in right field, where both these offenses don't have a lot of lefties. So maybe a good play on this game would be an Ellie De La Cruz home run, maybe Gavin Lux RBI, something like that. But I'm going to be on the under 8 at minus 125 in this game. I do think we see a pitcher duel here with a domed up game. Yeah, under 8 for me. Moving on to our next game, we have the Giants heading on the road to play the Twins. Now, this is going to be a pretty interesting game. Jordan Hicks and Chris Paddock are 2 pitchers that you really don't know what you're going to get from them. Again, both these pitchers have almost 6 ERAs. But again, Jordan Hicks, he's only 28. Again, he just had to come off a really good start. Again, it was against Colorado, so you can't really give him much credit. Before that, he's given up 7 hits, 8 hits, 6 hits, 8 hits, 6 hits, 2 walks, 3 walks, 4 walks, 3 walks. I don't love to ever back Jordan Hicks, but again, I think he's just having a bad start. Last year, he had finished off the season around a pretty average pitcher, like a serviceable. Again, his walks are going to be always his problem. Chris Paddock on the other side, he's been also really bad. He's been actually quite good at home, but he's having similar problems. His walks are way up. Definitely not as bad, but he doesn't go nearly as many innings as Hicks does. And if you look at the xFIP of both these pitchers, Paddock this season has been one of the worst pitchers, an xFIP of 5.20, while Hicks is actually like almost a top 50 pitcher with an xFIP of 3.71. So despite the walks, he definitely has better stuff than Chris Paddock. Giants bullpen, I think, is slightly better. I'll take a shot here on the Giants at minus 105. I just don't want to back Paddock, and I don't really want to. Maybe an over looks good here, but yeah, I'll be on the Giants, but definitely not my favorite bet on the board. Just gonna be a quarter unit on this one for me. Moving on to our next game, we have the Padres heading on the road to play the Rockies. Yeah, this is just a slam dunk over for me. It just feels too easy to do right now, but I feel like over 11 is the only play here in this game. We got Randy Vasquez, one of the worst pitchers in my opinion in baseball. He's bottom 10 in xFIP. He's a 5.12 xFIP or FIP, but a 6.63 xFIP. So he's been so bad, like really really bad. Even if you look at his Sierra last year, he's been again like over the last 2 years he's been a 5th worst pitcher in baseball, just behind Valente Belozo, Dakota Hudson. Like he's in that ballpark of like dog shit. Cal Quantrill, Xavier Curry, like he's bad. So I think both of these pitchers are gonna struggle. Sensatella has actually historically been really good against his Padres team, but again, he's pitched in this league for so long. Again, he has a good OPS of .724, but he's given up a batting average of .288, which to me, again, is the fact that this guy has the ability to get out of really bad innings often. But let's be honest, he sucks. Like, he's given up 9 hits, 10 hits, 8 hits, 9 hits, 6 hits, 8 hits, 7 hits. And the games at home, he's given up 8 hits, 6 hits. Again, he has the ability to get lit up. I don't trust him. I think he's even worse than he looks. He's been terrible at home. Last year, he barely pitched at home, but gave up almost a 10 ERA. This year, 15 innings pitched at home, 7.63 ERA. He's giving a batting average of over .370 versus both lefties and righties. We have two of the worst pitchers in baseball against each other. Rockies are due to finally get some runs. They just had some terrible games. They're going to be fully adjusted after that Detroit doubleheader. I think they're going to be really used to this. They're going to be up against a really bad pitcher after having to play a bit of tougher pitching over the last couple games against the Tigers. Yeah, this game's an over for me. Padres bullpen obviously elite. Rockies bullpen terrible. This could again be just like the Tiger series where the Padres put up 10 runs and cover this number basically by themselves. But I have this modeled at 14 runs for this game. We got wind blowing out, altitude good, weather's going to be decent. Yeah, over 11 for me, minus 120. All right, moving on to the next game, we have the Orioles heading on the road to play the Angels. Again, not my favorite game on the board. Another quarter unit bet for me. Kyle Hendricks is not a good pitcher, and Sugano, despite all the shit that he's been doing, he actually has a really good ERA, and he has a very similar ability like all of these older pitchers. Is that they know how to get out of bad situations. Like, yeah, you get base runners on all the time, but you force double plays, you force people to want to be the hero, get runners across the plate, but that typically forces them to swing on bad pitches, swing on pitches way below the zone, way above the zone, pop-ups, double play, ground balls. That being said, the Angels team, I think, is just a better offense right now at home. I think the Orioles, to some degree, I do think the Orioles' numbers should regress to some level of normalcy. But right now, like, they are just so bad on the road versus right-handed pitching. Like, bottom 5 over the last 2 weeks, bottom 10 of the last on the season like, on the road versus righties. But if you just look at their stats versus righties, they're a top 5 offense. But I don't know why, but when they hit the road, they cannot hit pitching. On the other side, the Angels at home versus righties been pretty good. Top 15 offense on the season, top 13 on the last 2 weeks. I think they can get a couple runs here off Shigano. I think Kyle Hendricks, all things considered, is actually serviceable at home. Again, sub 3 ERA at home over 2 starts. He went 6 innings in both of them, and he played really good offenses. He played the Giants and the Tigers. Only gave up 8 hits. Not a huge strikeout guy, definitely a ground ball pitcher. But because of that, he goes really far into games. So I think we definitely get him for 5 innings. I think Shigano gives up at least a couple runs here. I think this is going to be kind of an awkward shallow spot for the Orioles. I think the Angels pitch decently well at home here. Yeah, again, I don't love this bet. The Orioles are eventually going to have to hit righties on the road. There's no way it doesn't regress to some, at least a little bit better because of how good they actually are against righties. But I'll be in the Angels first 5 money line here at plus 115. Again, not my favorite bet, but more of a model play than anything. Moving on to the third last game, we have the Dodgers heading on the road to play the Diamondbacks. This has to be an overplay for me. I know the Dodgers have been really bad on the road, but again, this is basically just a righty thing. Again, I don't know why the Diamondbacks are starting a lefty pitcher, but if you look at the stats here, on the road versus lefties, the Dodgers are the number 1 offense in baseball over the last 2 weeks. Over the last month, they're the number 1 offense on the road versus lefties. On the season, top 5. But that number gets really bad on the road versus righties. But now they're pitching against a lefty after a pretty shitty game yesterday, where they basically got shut out for the first 7 innings of that game. I think they're going to lock back in here, kind of a revenge tour game. I think they're going to get a ton of runs. On the other side, this is a really good Arizona Diamondbacks team. Top 5 offense on the season against righties. Top 10 over the last 2 weeks. Definitely gotten a little bit worse, but they have played some really good pitchers. top 7 over the last month. I think they get to Roki Sasaki, who on paper is an elite pitcher. He will eventually be good, but he's only 23 years old. Um, he's been pretty decent, but again, he's still giving up hits, still giving up walks, giving up home runs. His Ks are definitely not where they need to be. And again, he has not went further than 5 innings in most of his starts. So I think he might have to get pulled early after the Dodgers used up a lot of their good bullpen arms today or yesterday. Edward Rodriguez, he's a decent pitcher, but again, he's been really, really bad this season. Now he's up against a Dodgers lineup that just got embarrassed. Shohei almost went 0 for 5. Of course, he had a home run on his 5th at bat, but I think that maybe is going to be something he wants to improve. 1 for 5 for Shohei is not something he typically does. And this is a Rodriguez guy who's given up. Yeah, he gets some strikeouts, but he still has. He last game he got 4 walks, 5 hits. The games before that, 9 hits, 6 hits, 10 hits. Strikeouts only had 1 game where he had 1 strikeout against the Mets. I think he gives up some runs today. I think both these pitchers are kind of meh, and we're getting some pretty good weather here in Chase Field, where home runs should be much more plentiful in the right field, and we should see a ton of doubles and triples down center field. So I shouldn't say a ton of triples, but a ton of doubles for sure. Yeah, I'll be on the over in this game. Over 9.5 at -115. Probably one of my favorite bets of the day. All right, moving on to the next game, we have the Jays heading on the road to play the Mariners. Now, we saw some offense from the Jays today, where they put up 8 runs, or yesterday, sorry. I don't think it happens again. Again, this is a pitcher's ballpark in Seattle. It's going to be a really late game, and late games in Seattle typically lead to very low-scoring games. We got 2 aces on the mound. Kevin Gausman has looked really good this season, especially, again, he's kind of been really good against Seattle in general. 98 at-bats. He's only given up 19 hits, 35 strikeouts, and a batting average of under 200, or .200, and an OPS of under .700. So I think he has a really good matchup. Obviously, Luis Castillo, I don't think he's really that good this year. On paper, he's an ace, but again, he seems to be getting worse as he ages. He's given up a couple bad games already this year, but he has had 2 respectable starts his last 2 games. 6 innings pitched, only give up 1 earned run. It was bad offenses, but again, he has he's a pitcher that you basically back at home and fade on the road. He has a 1.5 ERA at home. He had basically a 3 ERA last season. And the Jays versus righties on the road are one of the worst offenses in baseball. Now we're getting them again on a travel spot here after a pretty long game. I think both these pitchers go 6-7 innings. We see a little bit of bullpen action, but again, this is not ballpark that always benefits the pitchers. So I think 7.5 is a little bit too much. I think this ends up being like a 4-2 game at most. All right, moving on to the last game of the day, we have the Yankees heading on the road to play the Athletics. Now, at first, I really liked the over here, but this is juiced at to 10.5. I had it modeled at 11. I don't see the value at this point, considering the fact that I look at these 2 pitchers. They have the ability to pitch really well. That being said, if you look at the xFIP of these 2 pitchers, Will Warren's actually been pretty good. Like, yes, he's had a bad ERA and whatnot, but he has a 3.53 xFIP and a 4.12 FIP. He's getting a little bit unlucky. On the other side, Beto has been terrible. xFIP of 5.68 and a FIP of 5.78. So he's been bad. And now we're getting this Yankees team that, yes, they sometimes look really bad, but on paper, over the last month, they're still the number 1 offense in baseball against right-handed pitching, with a WRC plus of 131 over the last 2 weeks. Number 1 over the last week. Again, they haven't played on the road over the last week. And on the season, number 1. So we're getting this Yankees team, again, still without Chisholm, which is kind of a problem. But Vivas has looked okay. Again, I just don't think Beto's that good. I think ERA-wise, this is why we're getting a decent price here. I think the Yankees bullpen is going to be a little bit more rested than this Athletics bullpen. And yes, the Athletics kind of mixed up their lineup like significantly, putting Lawrence Butler all the way to the third last. So kind of more in a cleanup spot compared to with Jacob Wilson. All their guys that kind of get singles and then they put up all their big home run guys kind of in the middle. So I'm interested to see how that works. Maybe it's gonna be amazing for them, but again, I like the over, but I'm gonna have to be on the Yankees money line here. I think we have the pitching edge, the batting edge, and this is a Yankees team that has pitched or played really, really well on the road, despite being kind of mediocre at home. So, yeah, Yankees money line here at minus 140. Uh, don't particularly love the juice, but um, I think the over is a little bit too high. If it was like 9.5, I'd probably bet it. Even if it's just at 10, but 10.5, I don't love it. I don't like that a 6-4 wouldn't cover an over. So yeah, give me the Yankees money line here in the final game of the day at minus 140. All right, and that's everything for today. As some people suggested, maybe I should share my 3 favorite bets every day, just in case some people only want to tail a couple, because there are quite a lot of games here. Um, I will say my favorite bet of the day is probably the over 11 in the Rockies Padres game. Number 2 would probably be the over 9.5 in the Diamondbacks Dodgers game. And then my favorite bet after that is probably third would be Nationals first 5 money line, fourth Brewers money line, fifth first 5 under 4.5 in the Cubs Mets game. I still like quite a lot of these games today. I think you'll see the games that I don't like, which is basically the under 8 in the Reds Houston game, Giants money line, and Angels first 5. Every other game I'm betting half a unit on. But yeah. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I really appreciate all the support lately. So I will talk to you guys all tomorrow. Cheers.